We will start in a minute. So please take a seat, feel yourself comfortable, and get ready for two speeches we have today. Let's start, I think. Okay. Welcome, everyone. We are very glad to see you all here. What do I have to say? Come again? We still have some people coming to join us. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I think we're ready. Once again, welcome to our meetup. This is our fourth meetup for our user group. We are very welcome. We are very glad to welcome you here. This meetup would not be possible without our today's sponsors, EPAM and PROXYONE. As you may know, EPAM is the global leader in product development, fostering innovation, collaboration, and growth. PROXYONE is the specialist in also product development, but this time from scratch to launch and excelling in big data, DevOps, design, web. And another thing, I would like to thank our friends from Rolling Scopes community for their help in organizing this and all other events. I don't know if we would be able to make anything without them. Moving on, today we have two speakers, Anton Antonovich, who will share with us his story about AWS backup, and Grzegorz Kalwik, who will present us about Aurora Serverless. Apart from that, we will have a small break between speeches and some of your favorite Kahoot quiz. But apart from Kahoot quiz itself, which will have prizes, there is also a possibility to win small amount of AWS credits for the people who will actually ask questions. And if some of the speaker will find the questions the most interesting, you will have the option to win small amount of AWS credits to spend on your projects. And without further ado, please welcome Anton Antonovich as our first speaker. Over here.
Thanks, Kirill. Hello, guys. Thanks for coming. Nice to see all of you here today. So let's talk a little bit about the backups and about AWS backup as a service. And we will try to find the answer on this question, if it is your data knight in shining armor or no. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Anton. I'm an engineer with over 15 years experience in telecommunication and system administration. I'm currently work as a senior DevOps engineer at EPAM. I am certified by AWS, and I'm one of the leader of this user group. So let's get it started. Short agenda. We will talk generally about why we need the backups. We will talk about our experience with our own self-managed solution. We will make a short overview of the AWS backups, demo for sure, and we will make a conclusion and find the answer for this question. Before we start, I would like to start with a disclaimer and mention this presentation has been created to share my engineering experience. I do not aim to serve an advancement on IT advancement for AWS or their services. This information provided is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered as endorsement or critique of any specific product or service. The view is an opinion expressed and based on my own experience. and may not necessarily reflect a view of EPAM, AWS, or its associated services or companies. Any screenshots, recording, or other materials included have been shared with client approval and have been carefully reviewed to ensure the absence of sensitive or confidential data. So let's start it. Okay, guys, I have one question for you. Why we generally need the backups? We don't, okay. That's one of the possible options. Actually, no, today I'm also a backup. I am a backup speaker. And this is highlight the importance of having a backup plan for this event. So let's talk about backup plans. Some of you maybe have already backup plans. Could you please raise your hand? Okay. At least some of you. Some of you maybe have disaster recovery plans or disaster recovery events, exercises. Okay, at least. But as you know, you don't have to worry about the security of your backups if you don't have a backups, as Kirill mentioned. That's obviously. And some people still thinking we can live without that. But we have also another group of the people which think if it is in the cloud, it is already reserved to have so many regions, so many availability zones, everything. We don't need to backup it. It's already have reserved channels, reserved resources, and everything. No, you still need to backup it. And third group of the people which think where we can store our backups, let's say. And my favorite meme about that, so our server was encrypted during the ransomware. Where is the backup? On the server. What does it mean? We have encrypted backup. So perfect, we meet the compliance. It is encrypted and secure. So it's just a joke, but now we can talk about serious things. I believe all of you, or almost all of you, know these two concepts, is RPO and RTO. In other words, RPO is recovery point objective, and it is the time when you did your last backup. Like my last backup was today at midnight, let's say. So the potential data loss is data for today. And recovery time objective, it is the time how quickly you can recover it. And if you will think how this part and this part important, I would say 50-50. It's important you should be able to make a backups. At the same time, you should be able to restore it, because in other case, it's without the sense. And you know, all of us, we are engineers. We can create our own solution. I mean, AWS have engineers. We are engineers. We can do something. And we also had our own solution. Let me explain a little bit. Don't worry about that. I work for the huge customer which providing the business services, business information services, let's say. And our particular product, it is a content management system for multi-tenant, let's say, content management system. And our approach was, we have Event Bridge, which called to the AWS code build job, which created 4 data sync tasks, which collect the data from EFS volume, let's say, copy to the S3, to the tenant folder, store the contact. And in parallel, we have the bash script, as far as I remember, which dump the table from the database, store it in the tenant folder. And as you know, we have main region, we have disaster recovery region, and this bucket usually replicated via replication service to the disaster recovery region. So what can be wrong here? We have the backups, we have the database backup, we have data backup. It is replicated for both regions. What can be wrong here? Any ideas? Recovery? Yes, but we can restore the data for the particular tenant, for example. Okay, I've got your point. So let me tell you what is the problem. First of all, this solution works on the beginning of this project when we have, let's say, small amount of the data. But I would say this project already exists up to 12 years, and the data amount is significantly increased during the past years. So first thing, we reach the limits. Data sync have the limit per task is 25 millions of the files per one task. and it can be increased for the whole account. It can be increased only per task, and trust me, it's pain. You need to explain, you need to provide the clarification when you need this, and as far as I remember, from time to time, we spend 2-3 days to increase the data limit for the one particular task, and it's disaster. Not recommended. Не по лицам. And second thing, we don't have any monitoring for this solution. How we will know if our backup not successful or if it is failed? We have no any visibility, no any notifications, nothing. And second things, sorry. Take a look on these numbers. This solution using KMS call, when our backup solution make a K calls to the KMS for the each file, which need to be encrypted and then unencrypted, and it generated almost 1.2 billions of the request, and it's charged us almost to $3,500 per month. Additionally, we spent almost $12,000 just for storing around 95 terabytes of the backups for the both of the regions, main and disaster. At some point of the time, this is the screenshot from the September 22, the amount of the cost for these services start with more than RDS or Elastic Compute Cloud Service. So it's totally unexpected and it's totally not work for us. We don't want to pay so much money for the backups. And here you can say, okay, it depends how much data, how much is your data cost or your reputation cost. So we find another way. This is screenshot from the September 2023, and you see how it looks now. It's cost, all of this request cost only $100, and the storage cost for the S3 is almost nothing, let's say. So here we can start to observe what is the AWS backup service. AWS backup service has been introduced in 2019. It's not just from the last reInvent. And it is cost-effective, fully managed, policy-based service that can protect your resources, and the number of the active backup jobs per account unlimited. So here we see we have this service. We can use any kind of type of access. It can be via console, via CLI, API calls. We need just to create backup plan, put our resources under protection, protect, and we can monitor, we can restore, and we can make an audit or reporting for these services. Here is the, let's say, more visible, let's say, picture from Twitter. We have our RPO point, our schedule, which is declared in our backup plan. We have window for these backups. We have lifecycle policy. We can move it to the warm storage or cold storage or delete. And we can generate the resource-based test policy. We can organize the access, etc., etc. We can use different resources to back up their data in our vault, let's say. We can even protect our vault from the accidentally deletion. A lot of the interesting feature. And I just want to make a small spoiler here. Do you see anything about the restoration here, or only about the backups? Obviously, only backup process is presented here. On the next slides, you will know why I make this spoiler. This is the supported resources. You see, it can be C2, S3, EBS, a lot of the services, which this list is constantly growing. I believe after current reInvent, they will probably put some other resources to their protection. You even can make the CloudFormation backup. You can backup the whole of your stacks and restore with this service. So it's interesting. And for sure, all of your backups will be encrypted by AWS Backup. And this is the crucial thing. AWS Backup automatically encrypt your backup with the key of your AWS Backup vault instead of using the same encryption keys as your resources. So that's the significantly reduced our cost, because instead of using the keys for the each call, AWS Backup just put all of the data to the vault and use their own key for encryption. So we don't need to pay for this. And for sure, we can meet the all global compliance obligations here in scope of the compliance program. What else? Yeah, also interesting fact. When you use AWS Backup to copy your backups across account, it will be automatically encrypted, even if the original backup wasn't encrypted. So that's also a good option, let's say. Yeah. Okay. It was, let's say, beneficial part of this presentation. Now let's talk about the demo. First of all, let me switch. Let's make a short overview. It is recorded, guys, because I need to blur some sensitive information, so don't blame me, please. But all of the information will be here. So this is our dashboard. Let me back a little bit. Here you see some new features which was announced, and we will try at least one of these feature during this demo. For now, I will just close it. And here we can see the job status over the time. You see everything is green as we like, yeah. Even also here need to highlight, you see we have backup job types and we have copy job types. How do you think, what is the copy? Yes, exactly. It is copy. I mean, when we make the backup of this data, we can also make a copy to another region just to make it easier to restore in case of the disaster recovery. So you see everything is green. Restoration, we don't have any jobs during the past 7 days. So you can set up the notify if something will be failed. You can see the all statistic here. In other words, you have the visibility, you can make the audit for your backups, etc., etc. Yeah, you see you can sort it by the type. You can check only backups for the your Aurora, for example, or for your RDS or for EFS. So more or less, it's give you the opportunity to check how is your, let's say, health check of your backups. Here we have some AWS vaults, and we split it by resources. For example, we have separate vault for the EFS, separate for the database, and the prod vault, let's say, backup for the some EBS volumes or EC2 instances. So we prefer to use different vaults for that. Because we can configure, for example, different protection, different audit for that. And again, here you can see this is summary of our backup plan. We have retention period, we have copy configuration. It is every day, each backup copied to the disaster recovery region. So more or less, it is clear. Now I've decided to try this new functionality, let's say, and enable the CloudFormation feature. And with you, sorry, probably it is the same. It is the same video. Sorry. Let me switch to the next slide. Yeah, I've decided to try the CloudFormation together with you. As you see, it was disabled. We just need to enable it from the settings, because by default some services can be unavailable. So let's try to backup our existing CloudFormation stack. Let me just find it somewhere here. Yeah, it is available for now. And let's try to restore it. Okay, we will create the on-demand backup. We will choose some stacks. We will set up the retention period, roles, everything, and we will create this on-demand backup. Nothing interesting. It will just create the backup. And let's delete the stack. We're just deleting the stack. For now, our backup has been already completed, and let's try to restore it. Okay, we're restoring. Nothing super interesting and special here, but first thing, after this process, the resources in the original stack will be recreated, but if your resources is stateful, you need additionally to restore the data. So It's not the silver bullet, let's say. Just keep it in mind. But second thing, which I want to highlight here, we need to declare new stack name because we are restoring this backup to some CloudFormation stack, and we need to set also CloudFormation change set name, and later we will know why. So let's put some change set name here also. And a few moments later, you see our CloudFormation stack, our restore job is in pending state. And interesting fact here, I want to highlight it also. You see this notification, this may take several hours. So not particular time, not the hour, not the 2 hours, not 3 days. So, okay, it's acceptable. Several hours. Then our stack will be created. Let's wait just a couple of the seconds. Or hours, yeah, as usual, a few moments later. So our stack was created, but the status of this stack review in progress. Do you have any idea why the status is review in progress? I'm not sure if you like CloudFormation or if you work with that. Exactly. We need to execute the CloudFormation stack. But if you are junior engineer or if you skip the part of reading the documentation, you will just sit and wait this couple of the hours. So we know what we should do. We just go to the CloudFormation stack and execute it. So after that, we just need to choose the action in case of the failure. Nothing interesting. And a few moments later, it will be restored. So just try it in your future together with you. It works. Okay. Some of you can find it useful and try with your project. Now let's go to the more interesting part. Actually, this part will be based on one production incident which we had past year when one of our tenants lost the data and no one can explain how. One of the instances just delete the folder and kill himself. It's under AWS protection, I don't know. No asking me the question. Even AWS support can answer this. Okay, but we had you remember this picture with the disaster, with the RTO and PTO? You remember this fire? And after this incident, fire started be near my back. So we need to restore it. Let's try to restore to, EFS contained a feature like point-in-time recovery on item level. We can just restore one particular folder instead of whole EFS. So we can just use a pass. We can just need to choose where it should be restored. It can be a new EFS or same source file system. And that's my bet. We don't allow to use the same text for the existing resource. It's only for the new. So we just need to disable it and just need to restore it. And what do you think? Where is this data will be? If we are restoring on the same EFS, which is the first thing coming in your head? It should be on the same place where it was before. But it's not work like this. And not obvious thing for us was we are not using the mounting from the root folder. We are mounting EFS and production folder to our instance. So yeah, let's stop here a little bit also. You see, our restoration task was completed. Creation date is almost 1 p.m. Completion date, okay, it spent 4 minutes for the restoration, and the amount of the data was around 10 gigabytes. It's pretty quick, I would say. Super. We know at least now it works. Let's go next. Second problem can be it's hard to find your data because by default AWS will create the folder like AWS backup and timestamp inside of your EFS file system inside your root folder, let's say. So no need to try to find this data at the same place as it was deleted. For us, it was not so obviously, and I would say if it was not so obviously even for the AWS support, but together we find this data and fix this incident, everything is fine, everyone is happy. Just want to highlight it to you, you see. Actually, these folders with the data which was restored during this incident in February. This data which was restored during this particular exercise. So just keep in mind, it's not a big deal. You just need to be careful with the documentation and find it inside root folder of your EFS volume. Now let's try to do the same exercise, but let's try to I mean, what can be wrong if we will decide to create new EFS instead of restore the data on the same EFS? How do you think it's more complex or it is the same task? From my understanding, it can spend a little bit amount of additional time for the EFS creation. Okay, let's say 10 minutes. Let's say how it works in real life. We will do the same exercise. We will choose the restore, but to the new file system, and we will add some folders. This time I will use 2 folders instead of 1. Only this probably difference, or no, or only 1. Okay, not a problem. Oh, sorry, I again choose the, yeah, this is the wrong, this was the wrong slide. This is, yeah, because I remember it should be 2 folders. Okay, same exercise, but 2 folders on the new EFS. You see, restore to the new file system. Our task is pending, okay, and you see our EFS was created. It is unencrypted, but don't worry about that. Let's take a look to the next. Interesting fact about the progress. EFS has been created, so we already did some progress, but in this progress bar, the percentage is still 0. Okay, not a problem. Let's go. And take a look to the backup size. It's a little bit different. It's now 15 gigabytes instead of 10. Okay, we know it, not a problem. You see, our EFS has been created. Okay, created, blah, blah, blah. A few moments later, you see, our file system is available. It is still encrypted, but that's fine. But the total size of this CFS, 6 kilobytes, so this empty. Or it looks like empty. Okay. Let's go back to our restoration job, and we will see what's going on here. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah. You see, progress was 0. Okay. Let's check current time. And it's 1 hour when it was started. So it's mean we already spent 1 hour. Okay. It's 10 gigabytes versus 15 gigabytes. Okay, not a problem. And you see, now, after 1 hour, it is finally completed. So on the previous exercise, we have 10 gigabytes, we spent 4 minutes, and everything was more or less good. Now we spend 1 hour, restored 15 gigabytes, and status is completed, but our data still not here. With this exercise, I'm showing you the small amount of the data, because in production we had around 2 terabytes, and we had absolutely the same case when your EFS is available, but your data is not presented here, or looks like it is not presented. So, what I want to say here, even if you see your restoration job is completed, even if you see it is completed from your console, AWS backup console, in the backend, it's still working. And it was actually a terrible day when your EFS restored, you mount it, and it is empty. So you don't have any other option to restore the data. And when we call to the AWS, they just check it from the backend side and mentioned, okay, it is still works in the background. Yes, sure. Sure. Yes, I forgot to mention it. Yes, that's a good point. I forgot to mention it. And you see, why it is total size is 15 gigabytes, not 15, 50. So a lot of the strange numbers, a lot of the strange things happening here. And let's go to the conclusion. What I want to say, facts. In our case, AWS Server help us to organize the cost-effective, secure, fully managed solution. It's, as you see, it's cost us only 900 of the bucks across the account. So let's say it's nothing. Also now, our backup jobs copied to the another region, and we don't need to spend the time to move it between account and pay for this. It is under the hood. So even now, if we want to restore the environment, if we want to deploy it in disaster recovery, we just need to declare the Amazon resource name in our pipeline, and it will be executed and restored from the snapshots. So for us, it was really, really a great solution. And what I want to say here, yeah, I already said that. This is the real screenshot which I made after this incident. And AWS does not have control over the speed at which backup and restore job within AWS backup complete. We don't have any SLA on a backup. Okay. Okay, so it's hard to count how much time you will spend for the restoration. The whole presentation is about that. You need to, again, when we talk about the backups, you should remember you should be able to backup it, you should be able to restore it, and you should be able to count how long you will backup it, how often you will backup it, and how long you will restore it. It's actually about the concept of RPO and RTO. So again, anyway, I think this service is a great solution for us because now they implemented the restore testing. This is the actually thing which nobody cares about. But with the AWS, you can create the testing plan, you can create the compliance monitoring, you can test your backups, and you can count how much time you will spend for the restoration. So let's say all of the conclusion is yours. You can think about it, you can ask me about that, and actually we are moving to the Q&A session. Only one thing I forgot to mention, with the AWS backup, you are able to backup, for example, RDS cluster and DynamoDB. But in case of DynamoDB, you can restore the one table, for example. But in case of the Aurora, you can restore only the whole cluster. And in case if you lose the data only for the particular tenant, that's mean you should restore the whole cluster, dump this table for this customer, and restore it somewhere. So I believe maybe they will fix it. And all of this presentation, it's not about the blaming AWS. It's just, again, about my personal experience. And after this, we had a lot of the calls with our technical account manager and a lot of the things with the data sync, for example, because I know it's very old service. And our business case is not, let's say, so popular. And all our concerns, all our feedback, let's say, they promised us to make it like a proposal. And I believe next time it will work better. Probably that's all for me. Thank you guys for the listening. I hope it was not so boring. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if your question will be interesting, you will have a chance to win a small amount of AWS credits. It's perfect, as usual. Yeah, please. But only one thing. Do you have a mic? No. Okay, please. It depends, you know. If we talk about the disaster recovery exercise, it's up to 6 hours for RTO. For the RPO, it's every day at midnight, so it is agreement, we're fine with that. But if we talk about the RTO, it's around 6 to 8 hours. Yeah. Yes. 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 It is because it was around 100 terabytes of the data. And now it's around 50, and it's do not charge us for the. I mean, actually, the trick here, AWS backup using the S3 under the hood. That's clear, but we not pay for this for the storage. Not directly, yes, that's right. Any other questions? Please. We're using backup vaults, and we use role-based access. And even with this, you can additionally protect your vault and from the accidentally deletion. I mean, AWS backup contains the internal mechanism for that. It's named backup. I can even maybe on the overview section even can show you. Yeah, you see backup vault logs. This one. Sorry. You can lock your backup vault. For example, if you're under the attack, if you think someone have access, or I don't know, it's hard to create the business case for now, but it can be locked. I know it's from the documentation, from the. Yeah, for sure. Only with the dangle key, which your manager have, which hidden in some, secret safe, let's say, place, or the root account. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's right. First, second. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a very good question. Probably you mean the storage gateway. Here you can use storage gateway and connect your on-premises resources and backup it with AWS backup. Mm-hmm. Here you can provide the access if it is even out of the scope of the AWS. If it is external data, you can connect it through the storage gateway. I've just tried this before this event. This record was made 3 days ago, so I just tried how it works generally, not so deeply, but I found this interesting, and maybe next time I will try our disaster recovery exercise with the CloudFormation backup. I heard they just implemented GitOps solution for the AWS backups. Maybe I'm wrong, but or it was presented literally before the reinvent or during the reinvent, something like that. I believe we will find some news very soon. Yeah, please.
In databases, we have snapshots, and when we restore snapshot, we have very low performance before we first read data, first reading that block of data.
Mm-hmm.
So when we do a backup, AWS backup,
Mm-hmm.
we need to wait several hours, but we have full performance, or this is the same, like you have this now, but in low performance.
Never struggled with that. We just, again, declare it in our pipeline. Please use this snapshot, for example, for another environment. It was restored, and it works from the beginning as it's expected. Yeah.
Performance is slow.
Never faced this before.
I test this.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you can share it on during the networking, because I've never heard the case like this.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, please.
I actually have two questions. First one is that do I understand correctly that amount of storage required for storing backups changed because previously you just saved multiple snapshots of all data, and then with AWS backup you store snapshot and then it saves this.
Yes.
And actually my second question is pretty similar to the question of previous sorry, not previous person, but I still don't fully understand benefits of usage of AWS backup with CloudFormation, because you mentioned that we still may lose some data, we still use CloudFormation API, I mean we create a
Mm-hmm.
set,
Yes.
and I don't fully understand how it, yeah, I
I believe some businesses interested about that because, for example, let's imagine you want to reproduce some kind of incident on the lower environment. You can just make a backup of your CloudFormation stack and restore it somewhere just for testing purposes or for the performance testing, for example. Or you can just recreate the environment from the scratch with this backup. I believe they have some ideas because no one wants to spend additional time for some implementation which nobody will use. So it's actually a good question, but I also was curious about that, and this is why I'm tried for this demo. Any other questions? Yes, please. Sure. You mean this one? Oh, sorry, this one. Mm-hmm. New schema? Let me explain. New schema, yes. Now it's just AWS backup. I mean, we have during, probably let me show you on this video maybe. Where is this? We have the vault. We have the vault, we have the plan, and AWS care about that. And schema is pretty simple. We just need to put some resources under the protection, make it like protected resource, and choose backup plan for these resources, and that's all. We don't care where it is stored, how they will store it. That's on their side. Yes, exactly. This is why I mentioned it's look perfect when we're talking about the backup. But nobody talk about the restore. And from the backup perspective, it's perfect. Really, it's easy managed. It's have their own monitoring dashboards, everything. We never have had any kind of issues with the backups. With the restoring, yes, but not with the backups. Yes.
Your dashboard was showing, okay, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really
Yes.
common. So, are there any other downsides that you can see?
For me as a probably I didn't get your question. You mean, do we have any?
So
Mm-hmm.
the first diagram,
Yes.
pretty much complicated.
Mm-hmm.
The downside of what you know. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
okay, on the other side we have this AWS backup.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We have a dashboard to work automatically, we use it to recover. Okay, fine with me. Sounds better, you know, sounds like kind of like a
Yeah.
perfect solution. The only one sweet point was actually for
Mm-hmm.
the presentation. My understanding was okay, actually it's AWS backup shows that something was recovered,
Yeah.
but when you go to this volume, it wasn't there.
Exactly.
So it seems like to me like okay, that's a minus point.
Yes. Exactly.
So my question is, so it looks like okay for me. I see it for the first time. I think okay, I should take it. But my question is, are the other downside or weak points that you think I should take it
Mhm. For now, I faced only this issue during the incident with the restoration. All of the rest, again, is almost perfect. Only, you know, the only thing is hard to count your RTO. Only if your manager will call to you and ask when our production will back to life, you can't answer this question, and you should decide. You accept this or no. This is the point. Yeah.
So basically the second point
Yes, because again, as I mentioned, AWS have no any SLA for this service.
So on one hand side, you don't know when it will be up, and the second, you don't even see the status which is correct.
Exactly.
I have a question, a follow-up of the previous one
Yeah.
regarding the restorations.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you said, there is no particular time for a particular amount of time in which the restoration will be available. How does your client think about the restoration of this, what you said, 2 terabytes of data?
Mm-hmm.
Estimated recovery. How will your client react to that, to the fact that will be there
Mm-hmm.
significant amount of
Mhm.
time, I think it may be even days. So is
Yes.
acceptable for them?
Yes. You know, fortunately, it's just content management system. I mean, we have the incident, the fire is near us, but we know we're working on that. We know the estimation. I mean, actually, we found this weakness, let's say, because we was not able to find this restored folder, the sub fault. You know, we searched on the different folder, let's say. And again, was not obviously even for the support engineer. Then together we found it. But in parallel, we ran this execution. I mean, it was like parallel action. We tried to restore this folder 5 or 6 times, and it was actually restored. But in parallel, we just decided to run this full restoration. I mean, incident has been resolved in, let's say, 2-3 hours. But this restoration job is in progress, and we decided to wait until it will be completed. And when it was completed, we found, okay, it is completed, but our data is not presented here. So, I mean, we fight with this fire, and yeah, for us it's acceptable because it's the main thing here. It should be somewhere. We should be able to restore it. It's not so important how long.
But in comparison with your previous solution, was it faster in global scope, or was the previous one better?
This one is much faster because with the data sync is really too old and legacy service. And from time to time, we use this approach just to restore, for example, one folder. I mean, from S3 to EFS. You don't have so much options to move the data from EFS to the S3. You can use AWS S3 Sync, for example, or some other solutions, but it's always pain in the back, and we use it from time to time. And to move one tenant data, it can spend up to 2 days. And again, you need to request the limit increase for this particular task. If we count it also, it can spend even a week. So yeah, it's significantly different. Michal, yeah. I'm surprised a lot of the questions, guys. Yeah.
Okay, there's a way to avoid this kind of situation. You learn your lesson
Yes.
during the incident. Maybe whenever you start using a tool, or in general, whenever you start packaging stuff, maybe occasional, like once a month, once a year,
Mm-hmm.
try to do the test, restore and backup.
Exactly.
Then you can even try to estimate the RTO for your production.
I will definitely reward this question because that was my point. You talk in my words now. But unfortunately for my manager, he not accepted that. He set the priority of the database migration instead of backup testing. And that actually was my point. I know this practice very well. So my manager not accept that. So yeah. For sure. For sure, you know. So my manager not accept that. That's simple answer. Okay, probably. Yeah, one more question. Yeah. Could you please a little bit louder, please?
Do we have any pricing used because in some situation I would like to store it on a premium SSD or some standard SSD?
No, not really. Okay. Yeah.
How certain am I if I use it that I will get the backup?
Sorry, could you please repeat?
How certain am I that I will get the backup will work? So because you said SLA, how time, how long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not if I use S3, I have like 99.9
Yeah.
certainty that I will.
This SLA, they're not talking about the storing of these backups. They're talking about the SLA for the restoring and time of the restoring. Yeah.
What's the SLA?
I would say it is the same as S3 because this service is currently based on the S3. All the data stored in S3.
Sure, I would say it's slightly slower because they have middlemen in the middle, which is still
Exactly.
for different reasons.
Exactly. So probably that's all. Thank you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, or we can talk later during the networking and pizza. Thank you.
Thank you, Anton, for so interesting
Hi everyone, let's talk about AWS Aurora Serverless version 2. For us it's a new perspective on the production database because our clients save money. I saved my nights when I don't need to wake up to maintenance my database cluster. So this is a story about our journey from choose this solution to deploy that solution to production environment. And so on. I am Grzegorz Kalwik. I work in IT 12 years. I am certified DevOps engineer, professional and security specialist. I have experience in AWS and Kubernetes. I worked for National Defense, Police, and so on, public services, where I create a solution at on-prem because our government don't like so much clouds, so on-prem still win there. But now I work in Unity Group. We are a commerce transformation partner, and we help our clients a lot of commercial things. I think anyone know any of these brands. And we have team of DevOps where we create solutions on AWS and other clouds providers using Terraform. Okay, so we will start about introduction. I talk about what is Aurora Serverless. Then we go through the journey why we choose that solution and check costs and performance, because cost and performance is directly connected when we use Aurora Serverless. Then I show several suboptimal solutions we can do with Aurora Serverless and how it impacts this database server. And after that, I present two hybrid solutions where we can connect serverless with standard provisioned databases. Okay, so start. From the beginning, we use physical servers. I remember that times when I have large servers with a lot of disk writes, network controllers and so on, and we need to go to the server room and change and make maintenance. It's awful. Then we have virtualization, where when we use virtual machines to have several database engines on one machine, we can truly improve our scalability and maintenance. Then we have cloud computing, where cloud like AWS help us with this hardware area. We don't need to think about hardware. We have only software, maintenance, or databases. And for now, the serverless model abstracts away the infrastructure layer, making database management a effortless process and allowing business to focus what they do the best. And for us, we can think about to enhance our infrastructure, not maintenance or infrastructure. But serverless also have a trap, and I will also give you a recommendation how to avoid that trap. Okay, so why we have problem with standard provision databases? Complicate management. So we have several databases, engines, database servers. We need to update them. We need to think about, okay, we need to change instance to the bigger or the smaller. we need to put our system at service. We need to open maintenance page and cover all our pages. And this is awful because stores, commercials don't like have maintenance window. They like have no maintenance window because they not earn money during this maintenance window. So it's very hard to push that thing to our client. We don't have flexibility. So if we have standard provision instance, we have somewhere the roof of the performance. To change the high, where is this roof? We need to change, example, database instance. And we need to go to the maintenance. So this is lack of flexible, because when will be promo program from marketing and they will have 10 more clients at once, we are not prepared for that. We need to know that, we need to plan that maintenance, and we need to do these database changes. You can ask why you don't have a bigger database all of the time. Because of money. No clients will approve that. And when we do this maintenance, when we put that larger database online, we, during the several hours, we don't use that power, we don't use that resources at all. So we just burn the money and send it to AWS. Okay, so what we can do with Aurora Serverless version 2? We have simple management. We can only need to think about ACU, Aurora Capacity Units. This is regarding of 2 gigabytes of RAM corresponding its CPU. And this is the only thing I need to know. I set the minimum value of ACU, I set the maximum value of ACU, and Aurora Serverless just flexibility, scale up and scale down between these 2 points. How about time? We have very quick response. So I don't need to know when marketing creates new promo campaign and it's online now because on the America something happened. I don't need to know that. Just do what do you want. You do what do you best. And we pay only for what we used. No more, no less. What you used, you pay for that. Okay, you think about, okay, you still speak about Aurora Serverless version 2. What about Aurora Serverless version 1? In my opinion, and not only my opinion, Aurora Serverless version 1, it's not production ready. It can be deployed on dev environment, something like that, not production. Couple of reasons. First of all, scaling time. Aurora Serverless version 1, scaling in seconds. Seconds is long of time, but it's scaled down up to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is, I don't know, you can eat a whole pizza in 15 minutes. It's a lot of time when we need to wait for resources when you need it, when you need that, because we need to wait seconds. But when you don't need that resources, you need to wait 15 minutes to scale down. It's a lot of time. Aurora Serverless version 2 do it in milliseconds, for me, it's during the query. During the statement, Aurora capacity adds resources to your databases. I don't speak with developers about database performance for the moment where I deployed this serverless version 2. Scale down, it's up to 1 minute. 1 minute, it's acceptable time for scale down, but it's also some trap in it. About other things, for me, it's supported functions. Version 2 handle global database, IMF, and Lambda triggers. So, where is the worst thing in Aurora Serverless version 2? It's costs. Because Aurora Serverless version 2 is cost double the cost of Aurora Serverless version 1. Architecture. Some point of architecture Aurora Serverless. We have our applications. It's microservices on the cluster Kubernetes or apps on the EC2 instance, no matter. Then, when these applications send a SQL query to database, they send it to endpoint, database endpoint. And this query go to the router fleet. And router fleet route this query to database compute. And this database compute engine will process that query. And when we have the free compute for now to handle this query, it will be forwarded to that compute. Where we need a new compute to handle of query, we need the more resources, we need to provision more ACU to our database. AWS have warm pool of DB capacity, so we get a new new compute from this warm pool, and we process that query. So this is why I said the scaling up is done during the SQL statement. And the last, we have database storage and another layer, the backup. Okay, so we have application layer, we have routing layer, we have compute layer, and Aurora storage layer. So we have four layers of architecture, the Aurora Serverless. Why? Why we choose Aurora Serverless for our project? We have decision-making process with 4 points. First of all, we analyze of business needs. Then we think about technical analysis. We need to do technical analysis. We cost evaluation and non-prod testing. Okay, so let's go in deep on it. So we need to know database size and usage dynamics, because we need to think about how huge database was, database is, and database will be, and how dynamic of usage was, is, and will be. Because we don't need to choose architecture for now, we need to choose architecture for future, but to plan the future, we need to look back to the history. Because if we don't look back to the history, we cannot plan the future of this thing. And we need to think about business process impact, because solution we choose
need to enhance our business, not block it or something like that. After that, we need to think about technical things like compatibility. So we have Aurora Serverless version 2 compatibility with PostgreSQL and MySQL. So if our applications use MS SQL, you cannot choose Aurora Serverless version 2. We need to think about performance requirements. So workloads need to be compute ASAP, or it can wait. The SQL statements need to be done fastest way, or it can wait so much longer. Something like e-commerce. What is the most crucial point on all e-commerce page? You know? Yeah, the payment process. The payment and bucket. From the when you have bucket and you click proceed to checkout, this is the most valuable process because and it need to be ASAP. The client not accept waiting for checkout because if clients need to wait too long for the checkout, they can change their mind. So this is the most crucial point. So this query need to be done ASAP. And I came back to this point. And the last of that is data processing characteristic. Is think about how our data commonly performed and which operations will be done. In the cost, we have direct costs. Is cost for license, is cost for resources in AWS, is cost for network transfer, is cost for storage transfer, and so on. This is direct cost. And we have indirect cost. Indirect cost is something like engineers who need wake up at the midnight and make maintenance. It's indirect cost because our client need to pay me to wake up and do the maintenance. I don't do it for free. So we present that costs for our client, and after that we do the pre-prod environment testing, and it's success. So what problems have been addressed after we deploy Aurora Serverless? Case 1. Requirements to blind the service for the duration of database scaling. When I need to change database, I need to set maintenance page on our store. You can say, okay, you have Aurora. Aurora have write replica, read replica, and you can do failover. Yes, but we have SSO and key cloak on the SSO hangs when during the load you drop all the session with database. So I can't live change my database instance. I need to set maintenance page to do that. So now I don't need to replace database instance because I have Aurora Serverless. I have it scaled up and scaled down, and I don't think about that. Case 2, promo campaign, I said before. So we need to know about it, and we need to prepare that. For now, we always have the maximum performance, this roof above our needed. So we are prepared for any promo campaign. Case 3. lack of available threads to currently process cyclical operation and current traffic. As you know, PHP have something something like crons, and this is cyclical process during every minute, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 24 hours, and so on and so on. And in our system, in our database, these crons make load to the database, and during huge load from users who go through the store or go through the page, they need to wait for database. Now, when crons used database make load for database, Aurora just scaling up to cover that customers load. So we have no problem, because when we need more virtual CPU, just Aurora scale up. Case 4, microservices not adapt to use read replicas. It's my pain in the ass, because I like to have read replicas in my project and write one of my project, read replicas and write replica, but developers say our application is not ready to have read replicas, and they blocked our Aurora read and write replicas environment because they are not ready, and this is AIT microservices in the system. So adapt this all microservices to use read replica. It's so much costs, and client not accept that cost to change that. So now we have Aurora serverless as our read-write instance, and it's scale up and scale down what we need. Okay. I speak about scale up, scale down. It's fast and so on. It's very very modern. But what about costs? Because on the performance, I talk you. It's no problem. We have no problem with the performance. We have problem with costs. No. But it's trap. Let's look at this graph. This graph is our database load during one day. It's one simple day of our system. I like to draw 4 lines on this diagram. First line, the green one, is baseline load. It's load when our page, our system, idle, just do standard things without load from customers. So it's about, I don't know, 4%, 5% of maximum performance. The second line is standard load. It's load during the standard day when customers came, maybe something buy, maybe not. A lot of people just don't use our page because they waiting from promo campaign. And we have peak load. Peak load is, I call this DDoS on demand, because marketing like to send emails to all their customers at once. So they send, I don't know, million emails at once, and we have DDoS on demand. And all these customers come to our page and look for the offers, and Black Friday, yeah? And the next one is on the Cyber Monday. And try to buy something, and our system is about under the huge load, and our database also is under huge load. So we need to cover that load. We need to work under these requests. And the last one, last line I draw is something like this. You can think, what is this? It's not cover anything on this diagram. You know what this is? What it can be? What? No. I name this break-even point. It's mean if you used Aurora serverless compare to R instances of provision database in Aurora in the compute, and your diagram is during the day under this line, you save the money. But when you break this point, so this means the Aurora serverless version 2 is costs more than provision database. And we can see this on this diagram. We have 3 lines. I start with the red one. It's reserved database R7G X large. And reserved for 3 years, it's about $450, something like that. And we have on demand the same databases, and it cost can be about, I don't know, $800. And we have Aurora serverless version 2. And when we think 3 points now, think about 3 points. 0.0% load. So we provision our database and we don't use it. So when you have reserved, you pay 450. When you have on demand, you pay 800. When you have Aurora serverless, you paid, I don't know, $10, something like that. Because Aurora will scale down to the minimum, and you pay for the 0.5 Accu. It's like 1 gigabyte of memory. Okay, but now think about 100% load float. So it's line. We have all day, all night, all week, we have 100% load. Now, for the reserved and on demand, you still pay the same price, but Aurora serverless version 2 in that scenario will be $3,400. So it's multiple price of the reserved instance. What like to say? The best solution, the best thing about Aurora serverless is where you have dynamic and various load, and you need to be prepared for a lot of to usage of a lot of resources. You need to handle a lot of load, but general, you been below the break-even point. How it's look in our client? It's diagram for from a Cost Explorer. 1 month. It's daily cost of database for 1 month. And we can see where is clients waiting from promo campaign, and we see where is promo campaign. The red one. Okay. So their clients wait for promo campaign, and there is promo campaign. We see that on the cost. Why we see that on the cost? Because in Aurora Serverless, performance is directly connected to the costs. So if we need to more performance for now, we pay for this much money. But after that, the cost normalized, and through next days it dynamically various changes. But when I like to show you how it will be, how it looks when we choose the standard provision database. Standard provision database to handle that promo campaign in this point will be look like that. Because we don't have this load all day. We have this load several hours. So this line, it's our database to X large compared to the Aurora Serverless version 2 on production environment. So our client save money. Save money directly because total cost is lower, and save money indirectly because they don't need to pay me a money for maintenance at night. So double profit. What? You mean that?
For this promotion, do you have a diagram of cost? How many it cost when it have 100%?
If we have by month, it will be 3,400. And this day, it's this. Not $45. It's dollars. It's a Cost Explorer view. Because why? This is why we have total costs of month and average daily cost, and we can see the average daily cost 2x large R6G will be around I don't know 26, something like that. So we have earned $5 every day.
Why haven't you used personal databases? They have these T-type instances that actually have almost the same cost as, not cost, based on the usage of CPU usage of the instance, and if the load of the database is lower than the
T instances have worst ratio CPU to memory. Because I speak about R database, so we have 1:8 ratio and T have 1:4 ratio. So we don't have a lot of memory. So to handle this amount of load, I don't need 2x large. I will need to, when I choose the T instance, I need to 4x large. And the 4x large T will be around there. Because for database, memory is too crucial to have a lot of memory to cache things. Okay, let's about impact. Suboptimal solutions we create, and we developers and we DevOps create to our database and harm this database. I have three 4, it's standard for all database. 5th, it's directly connected to serverless. So the standard database not fill that a lot, but serverless will fill that. Okay, so case 1, we have full table scan, and full table scan we provide the high Accu usage. High Accu usage is high cost. It provides need reach into storage. All Aurora clusters, when they connect to the storage, it costs for us. So we don't need to make EO operates with our storage. We like to use cache. And we have performance degradation. The second one, we have improper transaction management. We have also Accu usage and performance degradation. I mean deadlocks of transactions. When we have deadlock on the transaction, our database try to handle that, and it will add a lot of Accu to handle that process. And after deadlock, these resources are free. Only after that deadlock appears. And we have use a delay mechanism in the database. I have one developer team, and they call me, Grzegorz, we have low performance on our database. I connect to the database and I see that this database have a CPU to handle 4 transactions at once. And on 3 transactions, we have wait. So we have only 1 active transaction to make load and 3 transactions waiting, I don't know, for it. For what they are waiting. So don't use delay mechanism on database. The better one is delay mechanism on the application side. The next one, lack of pagination. When you have we have no pagination on application and we select all the data, we have a lot of data transmission between database and application, and the higher Accu usage. In general, our application don't need, I don't know, 100 rows or 1,000 rows at once. We print only 20 rows on screen, so we can paginate that and handle that request. Only give me the first 20, the second 20, and so on and so on. And the last one, it connects to PHP crons. So characteristics preventing downscaling. When I compare Aurora Serverless version 1 to version 2, I said Aurora Serverless version 2 needs 1 minute to downscale. I know we developers and DevOps love crons like asterisk, 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 asterisk. So do it every minute. But when you have cron every minute with example PHP scripts, and these scripts load data from database, that scripts prevent our Aurora Serverless database from the downscale, because we have something like that. Aurora thinks, okay, I can downscale because I don't have a lot of work. But now it gets load from cron, from the PHP scripts on cron and think, no, 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 I have another query, so I need to wait to the downscale. Okay. The fast solution for that, change your crons, not for asterisk, 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 to asterisk /2, to do it every 2 minutes, to give Aurora 1 minute between the crons to scale down. And this hack give us 20% better downscaling before we have every minute cron. So this is of this. And we have RDS proxy because we need to handle connections, and a lot of connections is connected to our capacity units too, because every capacity unit is needed to handle some amount of connections, and we can decrease the connections by RDS proxy. The last two things, hybrid solutions. We have applications. Applications use cluster endpoint and reader endpoint, and we have replica serverless. Why we have serverless database on replica? Because it's on-demand report tool. The data is not dynamic increased amount of data to store in this database. So we have provisioned database on write replica. But our report tool is on demand, so we need to have a lot of performance to generate our reports from the database on user demand. But when we don't need to process users' demand, we don't like to pay for database. And this is why we put serverless database at replica endpoint. And the crucial one point, you need to set hot swap tier between 2 and 15, because when you set it to 0 on or 1, this replica will have the same amount of resources like this primary instance. It will not scale dynamically if this will be tier 0 or tier 1. This is the way we need to put the tier 2 and 15. And the last slide, data warehouse, where we put data to this database at midnight, and during the day we on point. And of course, under all of this, we have Aurora shared storage volume. Thank you. So, any questions? Yes? Aurora serverless version 2 is compatible like Aurora cluster with, well, give me one moment, with Aurora Postgres from version 13.6. So when you choose Aurora cluster, because you provision Aurora cluster, to use serverless version 2, you need to provide Aurora PostgreSQL version above version 13.6. If you use 13.7, you can use Aurora serverless version 2 on this Aurora cluster. If you ask about when you have Aurora database with 16 ACU and provision database on EC2, standard provision, Aurora instance R7GX large is the same. Because Aurora serverless used the latest generation of machines. So they used like you are using R7G, it's compatible. When you have EC2 at fifth generation of sixth generation, it can be slower than Aurora serverless.
How many percent of money do you save when you use serverless Aurora, and what are the main advantages except money?
Directly, our client save 10%, but we need to add indirect costs they saved. So I think it can be about 15%. And the second one, we don't think about scaling. We don't think about add resources, because when we will have the promo and we cap, I don't know, we said the maximum ACU, it will be 100. And it's too low, and we have 100% load, and our customers have 500 errors and something like that. We can online change that up, and Aurora will scale another ACU after several seconds, few minutes. So we have standard clusters with 60 ACU, and our client architect on its own change maximum Aurora capacity units in this cluster. I don't need to think about it, because it's on the console. You just change max capacity units, and it's all. And it's not connect with any restarts of Aurora or something like that. The before public online of Aurora serverless restarts after you change minimum and maximum ACU, but after it's go online and you can use that, this is no this case.
Sorry guys, can I interrupt you? We can ask another question during the networking after the presentation, because we are limited on the time and we need to get it Kahoot. So
Okay.
let's ask additional questions during the networking after the Kahoot, okay? Thank you.
So thank you very much, and
Feel free to choose any interesting question, or you can reward after during the networking.
okay, so I will give one, and the second one will be given on the during the network. Okay, so I go to the first man. Thank you for the question.